Well, hello everybody. Doug Rucker here with DougRuckerSchool.com and DougRuckerStore.com. Been a little bit since I've been able to post a video. We've just been absolutely slammed, and so going to try to get back at it, and kind of wanted to do a little update video on hose reels. Boom. So we're going to talk a little bit about hose reels. Had a lot of questions lately about those. Of course, been selling a ton of those, but anyway, we're going to talk hose reels coming up next. Okay guys, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be using a Hannay, H-A-N-N-A-Y, Hannay hose reel, and also one of the Valley Industry hose reels, because that'll give you kind of two different options. The Hannay here that I'm going to be talking about basically has all the same parts that any traditional type hose reel, whether it's Kings or Titan, General Pump, any of those types of reels that we sell, Steel Eagle, all are pretty much basically, you know, have the same type of parts. Swivels may be a little bit different, and of course the construction of the reels and some of the materials and all of that might be a little bit different. But for this purpose, for the Hannay reel, I just wanted to go over a couple things with you. So first thing is, this is the swivel. This is the part that basically hooks up like your whip hose that's going to either your pressure washing machine or to your pump for a dedicated pump system. So that's your swivel. These generally are always stainless steel. The Hannay have a little grease fitting here for greasing if you need to. I don't think I've ever greased my Hannay swivels, but probably should. But anyway, so that's the swivel, and that's what allows, again, your bypass hose or your hose that's coming from the piece of equipment that you're supplying the fluid to the reel. And then once it gets here, it goes into what's called a manifold, which is on the inside of the reel, so that your fluid comes out here, okay? And so on most of the Hannay reels, this manifold is what's called, it's not stainless steel, it's carbon steel or some type of, whatever type of steel they make. I believe it's carbon steel. And so, but it's not a stainless steel reel. So most of the times when you're dealing with bleach like we're doing, especially on a dedicated pump where you're using 30%, 40%, 50% mixes, you really want to have, or most people want to have, a stainless steel manifold. It's just going to help it last longer. I've learned over the years, I'm not concerned really about it being stainless steel or carbon steel or whatever, because I know no matter which one it is, the manifold is eventually going to fail, especially when you're using those high concentrations of bleach. So I generally will just always stick with the lower priced, which would be the carbon steel, versus paying extra for the stainless steel, because I know even the stainless steel is eventually going to have a problem, and you'll know when it has a problem because it starts leaking from the inside of the hub out. And so when that happens, what we do is we just turn the reel into basically a storage reel. So we're not running our fluid through the manifold and letting it come back out through here. And I'm going to show you how we do that to set it up as a storage reel versus actually using the reel to deliver your fluids, water, or bleach mix, or whatever. Hey everybody, just a reminder real quick, don't forget this Saturday, March 19th, free paver sealing class we're going to be doing here at DougRuckerStore.com. And actually, I'll show you out in the parking lot. That's from 8 until noon on Saturday, March 19th. We'll be set up out here in the parking lot. We're going to clean some concrete. We're going to stain some concrete.
He's bringing, Steve Venturini from Deco Products is bringing some pavers, and so we'll show how to do that as well, sanding them, sealing them. It's from 8 until noon this Saturday, March 19th, right here at DougRuckerStore.com, and go to pressurecleaningschool.com/events and make sure you get registered for that, and we hope to see you there this Saturday, March 19th.
So first off, if you're using, when you're using one of these reels, all of these reels are going to come with 1/2-inch NPT threading on both the swivel as well as the discharge part here where you install your hose. And so what you always need to make sure that you order, and it's a separate item on our website, so you need to make sure that you order it separately, but it's a 1/2-inch female pipe thread to 1/2-inch female pipe thread to 3/8 male pipe thread. It's a reducing bushing, and so basically you're going to install that on there. Make sure you use your thread lock and thread sealer and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to say that one time. I'm not going to say it the rest of the video, but you always want to do that. But for these videos, I don't do it. And so the way I do it, and you can do this one of two ways. You can take let's say you're hooking up your pressure washing bypass hose that's going to your machine. You can take and hard plumb it straight in there using the end of the hose that has the swivel on it. This part swivels. And so whatever length whip hose you get, you'll take the end that has the swivel part, and you can actually plumb that right into there using a wrench. The way I do it is I use the coupler quick connect, and I put that in there, and then I don't know why it is on video, I can never get these things to go in. Good Lord, Doug. There we go. All right, so once you get that in there, hopefully you don't have as much trouble as me. Then I use a plug on the other end, because for me, plug always points the way the water flows, no matter how I'm setting anything up. So my lead fitting coming off my pressure washer is the plug. So I know the water is going to come through this way, and I'm going to plug my bypass hose in like that. This just makes it easier whenever I want to take this off. I can do that and store it in the back of my truck, because we use truck mounted units, or same thing on the trailer or whatever. And then on the inside of here, you've got to do the same thing. You've got to put another 1/2-inch to 3/8 reducing bushing. And since the water is coming out this way, I'm going to use what? I'm going to use the plug, because the water flows that direction. Okay, and so then my pressure wash hose would actually have a coupler, and then I can hook the coupler up just like that. Okay, and the reason I like this is because if I'm doing a parking lot, huge house, whatever, I need to move my hose. It may be easier to just remove the hose from this reel, drop it, and drag it to wherever I want to, versus having to roll it all the way up and then move and then unreel it again. So that's why I use quick connects on all of my hose reels. Okay, so now you've been using your reel, I don't know, a year and a half, maybe 2 years, who knows how long it takes for that manifold to be compromised because of the bleach use. It really is going to depend on if you're just using it for downstreaming, because that's lower dilution, or if you're using it for a dedicated soft wash pump where you're using 30, 40, 50% mixes. But anyway, let's say the manifold has been compromised, or it's just leaking somewhere inside the hub. And so most places where it's going to leak is either in the neck here, where you have your fitting connected to the manifold, which is delivering the fluid out. And so sometimes it's going to create a little pinhole leak in here, or down inside here. You'll notice it because it's dripping or it's spraying or whatever. And at that point, that's when you have to bypass the manifold and the swivel and just hook up directly, and then you use the hose for you use the reel for storage only, and that's what I'm going to show you. That's what people mean by when they say they use the reel for storage only. Some guys do it when they're brand new out of the box, but I go ahead and use the reel until it goes bad and then use it for storage. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your hose off of the swivel that's going to your machine. That's your whip line. And then you take the hose off of the hose reel and you're going to connect those two together. Okay? Go about your business, do your job, whatever. And then when you're done for the day, you can simply disconnect these two. Put this one back onto the swivel. Put this one back inside the reel. And then you're rolling up, okay? And so that's why I use the quick connect fittings I was telling you about on both sides, because if it's hard plumbed, then you can't do that. But that's the easiest way I found to bypass the swivel, roll your hose up all the way. Always get your hose nice and neat. And one of the things that's very important that I've found on hose reels is if you have 200 feet of hose on this reel and you only need to use 50 feet, don't just unreel 50 feet and then put the lock pin in, because that's going to do a couple things. It's going to cause your hose to wear out faster because you've got it reeled, and that pressure fluctuations from pulling the trigger or not pulling the trigger causes damage to the hose. And it also causes damage to the hub. There's some reels out there that the metal on here is kind of thin, so you have to make sure that you always just unreel all that hose. Now, when we have shorter situations, we keep a 50-footer and a 75-footer on our truck, so that if I don't want to roll all 200 feet out, I can just hook up my 50-foot hose or my 75-foot hose directly to here, and then just roll those up manually by hand. That's very easy to do, those short hoses. Okay, so very important to make sure that you're not keeping hose on the reel when you're going to be pulling the trigger and engaging the trigger. It's okay if you're just doing a test, like for pressure with a pressure gauge or something. A couple of times is not going to hurt it too bad, but you certainly don't want to do that if you're pulling up to clean a dumpster area or clean a driveway that's only 45, 50 feet from the street to the garage door. Get all 200 feet pulled out on that, or use a shorter hose and hook it up directly. So that's what's meant by bypassing and using the reel only for storage. Is you take the hose off of the inside of the hub where the water comes out, then take it off of your swivel, your whip hose, and connect those two together. Okay guys, a couple other things on reels that you need to be aware of. You have pin lock levers that will keep the reel in place when you're traveling, so the reel doesn't free spin. So those are a great thing to have. You just want to make sure you keep these lubricated and keep these in good working order. They're replaceable if they start to wear out because of water corrosion or bleach getting on them or whatever. But you always want to make sure that's engaged when you're traveling down the road. A lot of times I know people that don't pull their all their hose off, and they'll leave this unlocked, and every time they pull the trigger it causes this to move, so the hose starts loosening, kind of like on a fishing pole. It kind of free spins, and so you end up at the end of the job having to take all the hose off to get it back on nice and tight. So that's another good reason to just get in the habit of taking all your hose off the reel when you're going to use it. One other thing that they have is what's called a brake, and they'll be different on different reels. I'm going to show you a Valley Industry reel next that has a little butterfly type wing nut, but this is the one for Hannay. And so when this is up and you can adjust this how you want it, it makes it easy to roll up, roll out. You just want to make sure when you're rolling it out, you don't want it too loose, because then the reel can free spin while you're rolling it and it just becomes a clustered mess. So you want to make sure you get this adjusted to where you like it, and then this brake just goes back like this, and that makes it harder to move. See how I'm using the same, now it's easy to move, okay? So that's a couple other things on reels that you have to be aware of. Just make sure you keep this adjusted so that when you're rolling out, this doesn't move so freely. It just has to have a little bit of tension so that the hose rolls out nice and even, doesn't free spin and cause like a bird's nest would be on a fishing pole. If you fished, you know what I'm talking about. Okay guys, the next reel I wanted to talk to you about real quick is the hardcore aluminum hose reel. This is made by Valley Industries. It's a great reel. You can use for either soft washing or for a pressure wash hose. These are rated up to 4,000 PSI, I believe it is. And so this reel I like a lot, especially for the soft wash dedicated pump systems with the higher bleach percentages, because it doesn't have a manifold necessarily going in like some of the other reels. And so basically what happens is you've got a little hole over here, and then you've got a bigger hole here, okay? And so when you're going to install this, the first thing you want to do is you want to put your half by half threaded hose barb. So that's a 1/2 inch thread on this side, 1/2 inch barb on this side if you're using 1/2 inch hose. If you're using 5/8 hose, then you want this part 1/2 inch, the threaded part, and the hose barb part 5/8. And we have those here on our website if you need them, but you can also get these at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, any place really. And so what happens on this one is you basically run your hose into that little hole, and then it's going to come in. It's going to come in through the side here, and you've got to grab it with your hand, kind of pull it over, and then you're going to attach it to that hose barb. Make sure you put your hose clamp on first. And so you're going to attach it to this hose barb in here that I've already placed in there. Let's see if you can see it. Let me move the camera. Right there. And then tighten your hose clamp down and you're good to go. If you're using pressure fittings and you do the same thing that we just did on the other hose reel, you're just using your 1/2 inch to 3/8 bushing, and then use your quick connects or hard plummet if you want. But these are great reels. These have lasted me a very, very long time. They actually have a lifetime warranty. I've never had anybody take advantage of the lifetime warranty. I never have had to, but great reel, especially for soft washing. We also have these in 18 inch, so if you want to put 300 feet of soft wash hose on it, you can. We've got them in electric, they're stack kits, all of that kind of stuff you have options for. But that's basically how this reel works, and bypasses the manifold or whatever, and you hook directly inside, basically to the swivel. And then on the outside here, to hook your whip hose up to your pump, you're doing the same thing. You're just using a 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch hose barb, or 1/2 inch to 5/8 or 3/4, whatever spray hose you're using, or whatever hose you're using that's going from here to your pump. So that's basically how the hardcore hose reels work. This is the brake for it, so you can see, let me get this hose out of here. You can see that if this is loose, it kind of turns pretty easy. As I tighten it down, I can't turn it as easy, okay? And so that's how you turn. You have to turn this down before you take off from the job site and keep that thing from spinning, because it does not have a pin lock like the Hannay I showed you. So you want to make sure that this is turned down as tight as you possibly can. That will keep this from moving, and it makes it even heavier when you've got 200, 300 feet of hose on it. Then when you get to the job, just turn the thumbnail or the butterfly wing nut, loosen it a little bit, and it'll allow you to pull your hose off, okay? So just pay attention. Every hose reel is going to have some type of brake to help you control the spinning. You just have to look for it. It's usually on the same side of the swivel, but sometimes, like on the Hannay, it's on the opposite side. It would be with a handle. So that's it on these hose reels. I hope that helps you guys. I just wanted to give a little update, especially on this hardcore reel, because this is a great option for soft washing. I think the 12-inch here runs about $325, but they're on our website. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notifications every time I come out with a video that could be helpful to you. Leave me a like, and also any questions or comments that I can help you with. I try to monitor the channel here on a daily basis and try to answer everybody that I possibly can. Sometimes I miss a few. So if I did, just ask the question again, or give it a bump, or say, hey, a little help here, or whatever. So yeah, thank you guys. I hope y'all are having an awesome season and getting ready to get started in some areas. I know we've got a lot of guys up north that we've been working with, getting their equipment and everything set up. We've got 4 or 5 trailer rigs to build. We've got a truck skid to build. Busy time. So get ready. If we can help y'all in any way, we sure would appreciate your support. Y'all have an awesome day, week, whatever it is.